Chapter 13, Wedges. It was the summer of 1989, and I kept busy working on the yard of the new house. Vic spent his summer playing shows with Inside Out, studying with the Bhagavad Gita. One morning I awoke unusually early and heard mumbled sounds coming from Vic's room. I peeked in and saw him sitting cross-legged on the floor, with one hand in a bag, speaking quietly in a very rhythmic and slightly melodic way. Early in the summer, he got a new set of tulasi beads, not for around his neck, but to use as prayer beads, a kind of a Hindu rosary. There are 108 beads on the japa mala, 108 recitations of a mantra. Mind-numbing, I think. I prayed the rosary as a younger person, and even then had trouble with the repetition, despite the rosary prayer's greater variety. I asked Vic about the purpose of this ritual. Chanting helps to quiet the endless stream of thoughts so that I can concentrate on the more important goals during the day. Saying Krishna's name brings me closer to God. If I say Hare Krishna at the moment of my death, I will bypass the reincarnation cycle of life and immediately attain perfection. Sort of like a get-out-of-free-jail card? Boy, that pissed him off. Listen, Vic, I said in a more serious tone, that's an unprovable hypothesis. You can't base your life on something like that. And you can't disprove it either, he shot back. Of course not, but how likely does it seem that that's true? What's the point of guessing if you don't know the answer? Maybe I can't prove it, but that doesn't make it wrong. For the most part, Linda and I had no idea what it meant to be a Hare Krishna devotee. We heard Vic talk about it with some reverence, but we never got to see them up close. One day, while visiting Pacific Beach, we turned the corner on Grand Avenue, and wham, there it was. Our first glimpse of the Hare Krishna temple. It was a big, square, salmon-colored, and dreadful looking, except for the porch up front, which was inviting. The sounds of singing and enthusiastic drumming escaped from the temple's every orifice. The rhythms were foreign to me and intriguing. We approached the temple's door cautiously from the side, like we're sneaking up on a bug we're about to kill. Inside was dimly lit, perhaps using only whatever natural light filtered into the room. We stepped a little closer and cautiously peeked deeper into the temple. As our eyes adjusted to the dim light, we saw in the background on the left a life-size statue of an old man sitting in a lotus position, atop a throne surveying the crowd in attendance. Or was he real and just very stiff? In either case, he was creepy. Straight ahead was what appeared to be an altar, and upon it were brightly colored, flower-festooned statues of 4 people. At the corner of the altar were 3 statues that looked like cartoon characters with big eyes and small, out-of-proportion bodies. Was this Indian culture or Indian culture on steroids? With eyes fully adjusted to the dim light, we watched the ceremony underway. People were divided into 2 groups, male and female. Many males wear saffron-colored robes, while some were in white. They were dancing and chanting with great energy, something I later learned was called a kirtan. Their faces were unusually pale, with a strange marking on their foreheads. The marking was painted in mustard-colored paste and went from the tip of the nose to the top of the forehead. Tip of the nose to the top of the forehead. It was painted in outline with a bulb near the bottom. The symbol looked like a lot like the designs on the outside walls of the temple itself. Most of the males had very short hair or completely shaved heads. Not like a skinhead's, the devotee's hair is shaved except for some strands of hair coming out of the back, like a ponytail that crept up a couple of inches higher than it should be. In retrospect, it looked very much like what would be the place where the actors in the movie Matrix were jacked into the Matrix. As we stood at the doorway's boundaries staring inwards, waves of aroma from the temple paraded past us. The stench of must and sweat arrived first, closely followed by the scent of curry and finally a hint of incense. The ceremony was more chaotic and energetic than any Southern Baptist revival meeting that I've seen on TV. Even so, there were many ordinary people of Indian heritage present. Hindu religious practice was not well organized in America at the time, and the existence of a functioning temple that displayed and properly worshipped the Hindu deities was, I'm sure, very comforting to many in the audience. To my surprise, the sight of ordinary people made me feel better as well. It made me think that this wasn't just a crazy cult, instead just some ill-formed offshoot of something authentic. It was vaguely familiar, like a forgotten page from a discarded book. My musing was broken by the sound of someone approaching from behind. We turned towards him. I waved my hand in the universal no thanks gesture, without concern for anything he might have to say. We scurried away as quickly as we could.